Maybe some of the fingers. Yeah. Jokes are the tradition now, he says. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know if I told this one before. This one's good. What do you call a sleeping cow? Give up. What do you call a sleeping cow? Hold on, I'm adjusting all my windows. What do you call a sleeping cow? You call a sleeping cow a bulldozer. A bulldozer. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Ooh, that's also good. Okay. So, since it doesn't look like... Oh, Kevin uploaded something. Great. Well, look at that. After Bouillon. Bouillon uploaded something too. But we'll check out Bouillon's first, and then we'll get to the other one. So, last time we talked about composition and design with Arthur Loftus. Do you guys have any questions about that? Anything else you guys have thought about in the interim week? I think it just piggybacks on the idea that we need to, as board artists, you need to be skilled in a lot of things. And one of those skills is design, understanding how to compose shots or compose things so that they look pretty. It's a very small part of, well, it's not a small part. It's an important part of storyboarding. You don't have to be a master of it, but knowing just those few basic rules will make your work that much better. So I was really happy Arthur could come on and talk about that. I hope you guys are implementing that into your work now, because that is something I definitely do all the time when I work. I always think about like big, medium, small. And we've talked about this before, like when you're doing background stuff, like you want to have different shaped objects. You don't all want them the same size. You want them to kind of be semi-different, you know, stuff. Make things look good when you compose them. Be able to lead the eye in with those zigzags. You know, all that good stuff. Lighting and whatnot. Anyways, so we talked about that last time. This time, I had someone reach out to me and they sent me their story reel and portfolio. And his name is Mriganka Bouillon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And let's take a look at that. We'll take a look at your story reel real quickly. I hope you don't mind. We're going to look at your story reel. It's 2019. Yeah, so I've never seen this before. I've never made a story reel myself personally. This was something that was not even available to me when I was getting into animation, so it's interesting seeing this now as a professional, because I'm wondering if this is what you need to show off your work. So let's take a look. Pew, 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 pew. Whoa, it's a lot of 3D stuff. How many of them are back there? More than enough. Let's try to lose them in there. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Damn. Okay, okay. That's pretty cool. Oh, something different now. Okay, the thing about story reels that you need to be careful about, and what's really important, is the timing of things, right? Like if you're going to take the time to make a story reel, make sure that it's kind of snappy and kind of close to the timing you want. If it plays a little too slow, that might work against you, because you're trying to convey your storytelling abilities. So if you took the time to edit it, make sure it's edited properly to how you really want it. Make sure the timing's snappy. Make sure it feels good. Whoa, this is pretty cool. This is nice seeing them side by side. Damn. Yeah. The other thing that we talked about last time is that when you do story reels, or whenever you're doing storyboards and submitting it for work or submitting it for a job, you want to tell a full story. This is cool as a story reel, but it doesn't show that you know enough about storyboarding, right? Like you're giving us little samples of things, and what the directors are really looking for is one, if you know how to pace a scene, if you know how to choose shots, if you know how to tell a story and like use those shots to heighten the story. So the first part of this was really good where we had them doing the chase scene because it's a little bit longer. We got to see a little bit more of your shot choices. We got to see your pacing and whatnot. These other bits with people talking and whatnot, it's kind of quick and you don't get enough of your abilities, right? Like you really want to show off your abilities. I think so. Let's go back. Yeah, like this first part is pretty good. I think your shot choices are pretty good. I would say make sure like it plays really well. Yeah, I think it plays pretty well. I think you have the right shots and the feeling is good. You might need to clean up drawings like this a little bit more, especially since it's like a supposed to be an imposing shot. That takes a long time. I'm not sure why they didn't just follow down the straight with him. You need to clean up the face on this guy and maybe fix up the composition a little bit. Not sure what's happening there because you couldn't see him dodging and whatnot. And then, like I said, that was the longer one of them. That was about 40 seconds. We really want beginning, middle, and end for the storyboards when you submit it for work or when you're submitting for a job because people, like I said, want to know if you can tell a story. They want to know how you tell a story. They want to know your story sensibilities. You also sent me your portfolio and we can look at that as well. So this is, oh, you have full animatics too. Okay, so there's a full one here. I wonder what happens. Huh. So you do have full animatics of the stuff. Whoa, that's pretty cool. That's not bad. That probably goes. Some of those shots probably could have gotten sped up. You need to add in some fill on that just because. But that's cool. That's fine. Cool, cool, cool. Whoa. See, that's cool. Like that, there's a beginning, middle, and end. There's some suspense. There is some feeling and whatnot. And I think that's what you should do. I think the idea behind your story reel originally was the idea that, you know, you're giving us a little bit of everything. But I think, I don't know who the story reel is for exactly. I'm not, unlike visual effects or animation where you have smaller segments of work that you're putting together into one story reel, storyboards is a little bit different. I think it would just be better for you to just send full animatics like that, or tell whoever you're applying to, here's my website, here's my portfolio of storyboards, and here are all the animatics for it, or just be like, here are all the animatics for it. You don't have to cut animatics for everything you do. That's a lot of work for people to do. It is easier for people to get your shot choice and see how you storytell faster. But I would definitely say always try to give longer sequences like you have here. Like that's good. I'm sure your other animatics are like that as well, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2 hours and 10 minutes, or 2 minutes 10 seconds. So that's a pretty good amount of time. Cool, 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 cool. Oh, there's a music. So some shots, like, I think, okay, so I think it's good. Let's reiterate really quickly before I go on. All right. Storyboard portfolio tips. Let's change that color. That looks a little janky. All right, that's better. All right, storyboard portfolio tips, right? Full sequences that have a story arc to them. Beginning, middle, end. Right, that's the first idea. Let me make notes about my own stuff. Where'd my pen go? Ooh, all right. Oh my god. I lost all my pens. I don't know where all my pens went. You do one little bit and you just lose it. All right, 14. So first tip is storyboard portfolio. For storyboard portfolios, make sure you have full sequences that have a story arc to them, beginning, middle, and end. The second one would be make sure if you're going to cut animatics that the timing is pretty close to what you want. If you're going to take the time to make an animatic of your work, make sure it's good, right? Like if you have the timing be really slow, or if it is not to how you want your boards to look, then it's going to negatively affect your boards, right? Like let's say that action sequence was too long or the beats were too slow, then it feels weird. It doesn't feel good, right? It doesn't feel right. And you want to present your potential employer with work that makes them feel good. Like if they feel like the timing is slow, then they're going to feel like, this person might not know what they're doing. Maybe they don't have a good sense of timing. And storyboard is about timing, but you're not required to make an animatic. So if you don't think you are capable of editing your stuff into an animatic that's very good, or if you have any issues where you think like, oh, maybe my timing is a little bit slow, then just don't make an animatic. Just send them the full storyboards. I think people can play through them and tap through them and understand them. So, but if you do make an animatic, make sure it's good, right? Like make sure it's worth watching. Make sure if you're sending an animatic, it's timed well. Third thing is I think draftsmanship, like I said before, is important. An animatic can hide some of the draftsmanship stuff because it goes by so quickly. Like this stuff is happening pretty quickly, but I think you might need to work on your drawing technique. I think, like we had talked about earlier, where design plays an important part. Let me just screen cap this really quickly. Well, let me just put down the tip. The third one is draftsmanship and design are important, especially when you're trying to get work. They want to know that you can draw. So with this shot, there's a lot going on right now, right? And even though it's a very short shot in the sequence, it's still good to have a level of polish to your work that is professional level, right? So one, I'm not sure why there are all these grid lines in the back here. Like what why is there this grid line here, this grid line, and then there's also another grid line going like this up and down. There's all these grid lines, and it kind of just makes it very messy. You don't want that. You want to make your work clear. You want to make it look like confident. You want confident line strokes in your work, and you want to present a good product, something that they can see as being final work, right? So first off, I would say like work on your backgrounds, right? Like this background feels weird because everything's lined up here. It creates this weird sensation, and this is a design thing. Make sure, and that's why I talked about it last time, like design wise, like why this is important. If this is like a flat shot, then that feels really flat, but I'm sure you don't want that, right? Not exactly sure where the horizon line is in here. It might be like here or something. But what I'm saying is, if you need to have some sense of design and setting up your shots properly, because without it, your work will not be as good. And I want you guys to succeed. I want you guys to have work to show. I want you guys to submit good portfolios, right? So if it's going to be, you don't always want to shoot things super flat like that. For one, you don't want them all lining up at the top like that either. Second, most windows don't necessarily go up to the door level. Well, maybe the ones in my room do, but design-wise, it doesn't always look good. Third, you don't have to put a window there. You want to think about like big, medium, small, how we talked about. You want to layer things up like a lasagna, like we talked about. Thick. You want stuff, right? You want to give it some three-dimensionality if you're doing action boarding at least. Let's move this over a little bit. Maybe put the window in. So you want to make sure that you have, and it doesn't have to be as detailed as this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying make sure it has a little bit of polish to it, because that matters. Give it that asymmetry. Don't put the window in the middle like that. Give it a little bit of asymmetricalness. Just give it some asymmetry. This is fine if I have the plant here, that's fine. But design that shit. Make it look like flowers and stuff. The big, medium, this is what I'm talking about, big, medium, small. So you draw small things, or this is what Arthur was talking about, small things. Then you draw slightly bigger ones. And then you have like one giant one or something. A calla lily. You want different shapes too. You don't all want similar shapes. Anyways, design it a little bit. Give it a little bit of thought to what you're drawing. It doesn't have to be super complicated like that. It doesn't have to be too complicated. I mean, that's pretty simple. If you're having a door, make sure you have the doorknob and whatnot. Right, so already you can see that that it has a little bit more interest. It just feels a little bit more stable. It feels a little bit more solid, and this is all part of working on your draftsmanship, working on thinking about composition and design and whatnot. It's all these things mixed to one, and you're trying to convince your employer that you have these skills, right? So it's important that you try to showcase them at every point, right? So like right now, this looks pretty good. I think I might add in like something up here just because it felt empty design-wise. I don't know what that would be. Maybe like, I don't know. It feels empty up here. I don't know what I would put here. Could put a light. Boop. Boop, boop. I don't know. That might be a little bit out of place, but we'll just leave it in for now. Could add 2 lights. 2 lights, Mike. But watch out for those tangents. Make sure it stays in perspective. I don't know. I don't really care for the lights. We'll just leave it out. What's up, Jem? All right. So that's the design part is important, right? The other part in drawing characters is they want to know that you can draw characters. If you're going for action adventure show, they want to know that you can draw semi anatomically correct. So when you do this stuff, make sure you give them some anatomy. You can even do it like Bruce Timm style. Bruce Timm is the simplified version of all of this stuff. And if you do that, well, that'll take you pretty far. I think that's a good thing to shoot for, because it's designed well and it's simple and it reads very quickly. Right, but you want to make sure your work is semi-polished. I try not to have a lot of scratchy lines in my work. Like this makes drawing a lot slower, but I try not to have a lot of scratchy lines like this or feathered lines just because it looks unfinished. I like to have my lines be very smooth and very just one and done. And this might take a lot longer than other people and might require a little bit more effort, but it just looks more finished. And as an artist, as you do it more and more, it just becomes faster and faster. And over time, you won't need an underdrawing. You can just start drawing things straight away. You can convey ideas faster, and it just looks a little bit more professional, right? So I try not to use a whole lot of scratchy lines. If the line doesn't look good, I'll just erase it and then do it again. But I also don't know if this is the style of the show. Maybe I'm drawing the characters wrong and you're drawing them right. I don't know. But this leg does not seem like it's working right. For when you draw stuff like this, where they're kind of cut off, if you're having a hard time figuring out where to place them, just draw it past the bottom of the screen. Like find out where the bottom of the character, find out where the bottom of the door is, which would probably be around here somewhere, maybe even lower. Yeah, maybe somewhere around there. So I go like that. So this guy's legs, if he's a normal human, would be more like that. Right, something more like that. Chibi Fang says, is anyone allowed to submit a storyboard for review? Yeah, submit it. There should be a link. Let me post the link. I should have a link. It's still. Let me get the link for you and you can upload your work. Caleb Carr says, I think practicing the confident lines, you end up being able to work faster than the timid, scratchy lines. Yes, that is exactly it. And it looks better. Like a confident line that looks bad is fine because most people will just not think of it. But a bad, scratchy line is worse. It's just better to just do it confidently. You just get better over time. And it's really easy with the computer now because you just control Z that anyways. You just control Z it. But it'll just make you a better... Doing confident lines will make you a better draftsman. It is faster and it's... Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's faster and it looks better. So the two things that you want to do. It takes time to get there, but if you don't start now, then you'll never get there. William Dewalgosh, do you do a rough pass and then a cleanup on a separate layer for these sequences? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. A lot of times what I'll do is, so like let's say this is the first panel. What I'll do is I'll do maybe a rough drawing of him first. But every subsequent panel after this of him doing poses and stuff, I'll just go straight ahead. Like the next one, I'll just be like, what is the next? I don't even know what his next action is. Yeah, so he comes forward like that. I won't do a rough drawing of the next one. I'll just go straight ahead and try to start doing the poses from that. Because I know if I do the first drawing pretty well, I can kind of base off the rest of my drawings off of that one. Like I know how big he is, I know what he looks like, I know the perspective that I want, so it needs to be up higher. See, and like the drawing isn't perfect, but because it's clear and the lines are confident, it looks semi-done, right? Like if I wanted to, I could take it further, but this is pretty good as is. And it's a good way to confidently sell the idea. In Storyboard Pro, which I think is the easier to do storyboards, you can delete individual lines. Like I could delete like this line so it wouldn't be as scratchy. I could delete other lines, and it makes for drawing a little bit faster because you can also skew and transform lines. Photoshop kind of forces you to be a little bit more conscious with your line choices and whatnot. But yeah, I would just do that, and then I'd figure out what the next pose. I would just go straight ahead. I wouldn't do roughs for it anymore. Yeah, like I don't need to do roughs of everything. Maybe the first pose I'll use a rough, but everything after that I just go straight ahead. Right, like if I did another pose after this, it would just be like. Maybe here's something. This guy's head is a little big. And that's why knowing anatomy is important, because you need to know how to build your characters, and you need to know how to turn them in any pose you need them. So this is getting a little scratchy here. Like I would probably go back and fix this stuff up, to be honest. I'd probably clean it up a little bit more just so it wasn't so scratchy. But you don't have to necessarily take it to this level of clean. You just need it to be confident lines, right? Confident, not too scratchy, just readable. Okay, so that's kind of my overall note about your work, is that 1, make sure you have full sequences. 2, like your draftsmanship might need work, but I think your storytelling is pretty good, actually. Yeah, like shots like this, like design the background. Don't have it be so flat unless it's intentionally comedic. Make sure for close-up shots like this, you actually do a more finished drawing. I think the big thing about doing action storyboards when you're trying to break in is that they want to know if you can draw things with form. Being able to draw things and turn them is important. And I think that's what they want to know the most. Can you turn the head in 3D space? So for a shot like this, they want to see, unless the design is specifically a guy with like a flat face like that, that's fine. But I imagine he's like wearing a ski mask or something, right? So you want to show them that you can draw things and turn them in space. That's the big goal that's the hard part about action storyboarding, is that you are kind of expected to draw somewhat anatomically correct. And part of being anatomically correct is being able to turn things in space, being able to draw them from multiple angles, and making sure they look semi-realistic. They don't have to be completely realistic. Like the Bruce Timm stuff I said isn't really realistic. It has anatomy and it has shape to it. Same with anime. It's not particularly super realistic. It has realism to it. It's just you need to show that you can turn the figure. You need to show that they have form. But her design kind of makes me think that that she is more cartoony than I expected. I won't be going to Lightbox this weekend. I know a lot of people will be. There are a lot of people from the industry going, so if you have questions about that, you should ask them while you're there about storyboarding and about design and everything. I think Kirk will be there. Vaughn will be there. Steve On will be there. GB Fang says, so I've been watching a lot of Ethan Becker, a storyboard artist, YouTuber as well, and he's all about dynamic angles. Yeah, he's really good too. He worked on Voltron, the latest Voltron. Should our storyboard portfolio be about that too? So the thing is, you need to shoot things for the story, right? I used to just shoot things because I wanted them to look cool. Like, I thought this shot would look cool, and then this shot would look cool, and so I would do kind of arbitrary cool shots all the time. And I'm not saying that's what Ian is doing. Or Ethan's doing. I'm sure Ethan has a very good idea of what he wants from his shots and why he's choosing them. When people ask if you should just be doing cool shots all the time, that's a totally different thing, separate from Ian, or Ethan. I keep saying that. Ethan, right? So this will be the other tip. So it's more about shot choice, right? Just shoot. Do it. You just want dynamic shots. And the shots should support the story. The story is always the thing we want most. And if those dynamic shots help to heighten the story or make the story better, then yes, use those dynamic shots. If it doesn't, or if it's just like something that doesn't need the dynamic shots, then that can hamper the story, right? Like, let's say, like, when someone's powering up or something, you have like these cool 3-quarter up shots. Maybe you have some crazy like super close-ups on stuff and whatnot. And that's great for action, fighting things, and whatever's, right? Things that have more intensity. But is this like the perfect shot choice for 2 people talking? Probably not. It requires like a different type of shot, right? Like some type of cool fighting shot like this would be great for some type of cool like 3-quarter Dutch angle shot would be great for an action sequence. But not so good for a talking sequence per se. Right? Like this is a good shot for like an action sequence or something, right? Like you want crazy dynamic shots. You want crazy cool poses that read well, and that's great. That is perfectly fine for action sequences. But would this be a good shot for like 2 people talking? Probably not. You want to see, since their heads are so small, you don't get to see the reaction. For 2 people talking, you want to use composition and lighting to stage them differently. You want to be able to like look at their expressions. It depends on the story. And that's part of choosing things for your portfolio as well. You want to show that you have a dynamic range of skills, right? Show that you can do comedy. Show that you have a wide range of skills. Have a wide range of skills. If you can do a great action sequence, great. That's good. Have that in there. But also show that you can do like a comedy or an emotional sequence. Having that variety of storyboards shows that you can be put into any episode, can be given any script pages, and they won't feel like they have to hold your hand taking you through the process. The more variety in your skill set, the better you are for the show. So just to get back to your question about like a dynamic shot, should we be using dynamic shots all the time? Does it support the story? Does it help to make the story better? See, like you don't need crazy dynamic shots all the time. Sometimes you just need like a 2-shot, maybe like an OTS or something. I trusted you and your mustache. You betrayed me. I thought that mustache was a sign of good, not evil. But I'm a pilgrim, you see. You can't trust pilgrims. Because I also have a pointy beard. Never trust a pilgrim. Pilgrim. Right? So maybe that's a better choice of shot than the other one. Like maybe it's some cool lighting too. Like, oh. It all depends. It depends on what the story is about. If you watch directors and how they shoot things, you won't really see a whole lot of dynamic shots from most directors. Like Steven Spielberg has very simple shots. It's just the way he uses them in combination and sequence that makes them great. A person who does dynamic shots all the time is Michael Bay, right? Like that's not a good indication either of like using dynamic shots all the time, because his shots can make you sick, and they're always moving and they don't support the story, and you get confused as to like what you're supposed to be looking at and how you're supposed to be feeling, all these things, right? Like two shot is great. Two shot with some design elements, perfect. You don't need to do a lot. So to answer your question, do you want dynamic shots? The shots should support or enhance the story. Does that make sense? Getting back to what I was talking about earlier about your draftsmanship, you want to show that you can have, that there is form to your characters and that you can draw. This is specifically in regards to applying for action adventure shows. If you're doing comedy, that's a whole different thing. And I've talked about that before, how it's more maybe about expressions and about gesture. But if you're doing action adventure, then you want to show that you can draw you can turn things and you can turn them with form. Kind of looks like Spider-Man a little bit now, right? So in regards to this, unless the shape of his head is specifically that, round it out, give it that head shape, give it that dome. You want to see the dome of the head, right? That's why they have you draw the ball and then the eyes, and it comes down like that. You want to see the form. You want to see it rotate and turn in space. You want to see those planes. Okay. Thoughts on, Kevin says, thoughts on the Naruto fisheye angles. Like I said, it just depends. Does it work with the story? Does it work with the action? What's the shot before? What's the shot after it? Like, if you're just doing all fisheye angles, it's not going to work. You need to kind of put them together. Mustache. Thanks for stopping by, Chibi. Have fun in class. Go team. Swirl says, I know Rad Sequence always slaps down a gray layer of shadow. Do you think that's necessary? Also, what would you say is a good way to practice getting faster? You don't always need a gray layer on top of your work. I just did it because it looked cool. It does take a lot longer to get through stuff if you always put down a gray layer, because you can't just put it on the first panel. You have to put them on all the panels. So if you have the time for it, I guess that's a good thing, but it's not necessary. The only time I'll do stuff like this is if I want to indicate how the light looks. If I want there to be very specific lighting on the character, then I'll put down a gray panel and I'll indicate it. Like, otherwise, I'll just let the art or the directors handle it, or whoever's in charge of lighting. But you don't have to put a gray panel down on everything, right? Like, unless it's very specific lighting, like harsh lighting or something, then no. Practicing getting faster, just drawing, practicing your anatomy, looking at stuff that inspires you. I looked at a lot of Yo-Yo Shinari. I looked at a lot of Sushio. Looked at a lot of anime stuff to learn their shortcuts for how to draw things. If you look at my work, a lot of the shortcuts I use are very similar to theirs in terms of drawing arms and bodies and parts and whatnot. It's because I studied theirs. Like, I would trace over some of them sometimes, and other times I just copy it by looking at it. But by doing that, I was able to see how they drew their body parts, right? When you look at Bruce Timm stuff, you start to draw like Bruce Timm, or like Mike Mignola. Like, Mike has like very squared off shoulders, same with Bruce Timm. They like to have very strong silhouettes, so and very smooth versus curved, like that. Like, you'll see Bruce Timm's arms are always like that, and then maybe a reverse curve like that, and then straight. That's like a Bruce Timm arm. versus like an anime arm, which might be like shoulder. And it's a different language, but you knowing them is because I just studied both of them. You just need to study and then draw. Study, draw, study, draw, do your anatomy. So this is like a Bruce Timm arm. And I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying they're different styles. This is like a more anime arm. What would a Steven Universe arm be like? It'd be like something like that, maybe? I don't know. I haven't seen too much of Steven Universe. Maybe it's more bulbousy. Softer curves. Maybe something more like... Oh, they don't show the shoulder usually. They just show like the arm like that. Big hands. Something more like that. That might be a Steven Universe arm. Black what 01. Hey Dwoo, just want to say thanks for making all these videos and reviews there. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Anytime. Emma says, do you feel like more shading is coming into play with boarding? I feel like every time a sequence is released from She-Ra board artists, they will have lighting indications on them. I don't know. I feel like the stuff that they're releasing is going to look good because they're releasing it. There are a lot of boards that I saw on She-Ra that weren't lit, that weren't as well polished, but you're not going to see them because they're not going to release them, right? So if someone's showing their work, they want it to be the best work. They don't want to show subpar work. So that might not be a great indication of that. For example, let's pull up the work that I have on my website is the best work that I do, right? Like I'm not going to put bad work on my website if I'm trying to get a job. Because of that, you'll see some of the stuff is like shaded and you'll see that some of it is not lit, right? Like this isn't lit at all. Like this is just flat colors and look, it's kind of really rough in some spots, right? Like this is pretty rough as is. But then at the same time, I also have work that's a lot more polished, right? And the reason for that is because I want to show off different skills, some things I had more time with, some things I want to indicate the lighting. Like in this scene specifically, I thought the lighting was very important, so I'm going to put in that extra time to lighting it how I want to see it, right? Like I want a cool bottom lit lighting. I want to see the shadows on them. I want to see stuff like this. So I'm going to spend the time doing that, but not all the scenes are going to be lit like that, and not all the boards I'm going to be showing are going to be of that level. So do I think that you have to shade it? No, I don't think that's as important. If you're trying to get a job, the important thing is showing form and shot choice, right? Being able to draw semi well and being able to show that you can tell a story. If you're trying to impress people, then yeah, shade it up. If this is the work you've done and you're like, oh yeah, let me get looking saucy for the Instagram and the Twitters, and yeah, do it for that if you want. Or like I said, just do it because you want that specific lighting in that specific scene. Otherwise, you don't need to. Okay, so all right, just to finish up with Mriganka Buyan, who I think your work is pretty good. You have a lot there, and I think you have good shot choice and you have a good idea of story. I feel like if you're going to have your story portfolio like this, that's nice. Have it where if you're going to show like thumbnails like this, have underneath it the animatic, right? Like you want to show thumbnails and then the animatic so they can click on and be like, okay, let me see what you did, right? Having just thumbnails like this is not really useful to too many people, because as directors, they want to be able to click through. They want to see you can tell a story. I think if there's anything to take away from this, is that you want your storyboards to show that you can tell a story, and then you can draw well, right? So when you show thumbnails like this, it kind of gives you a good idea, but it's not ideal. The ideal would be either the animatic or the storyboards themselves that you can click through. So I know you have an animatic of this, so have like the thumbnail like this, and then right underneath it have the animatic for them to click on so that they can see your work. Same thing with this. Like if you're going to show, if you're going to have this thing, have the thumbnail. If you want, you can keep the thumbnails and then put the animatic underneath it so that they can see you can tell a story. Yeah, because most people don't look at storyboards like this anymore. They look at like one-page PDFs and they tap through it because that's the easiest way to see it, and that's the easiest way to get a sense of your shot choice and whatnot. But thank you for submitting your stuff. I think it looks good. I think you are on your way to like really, I think you have a lot of the good foundational skills needed for storyboarding. So keep with it. Keep doing it. I think you're in a good spot. Okay, let's look at some other storyboards that were uploaded. I think Kevin uploaded something first. Oh, let me get some coffee. Black White 01 says, any advice on feeling fatigue in your hand, arms when drawing a ton? What do you usually do to prevent possible injuries? Ooh, that's a very good question. So, I'm not a doctor for one, and then two, every person is different. Every person draws differently, so what works for me might not work for you. I'll tell you what I do and what prevents me from getting sore. First off, I try to have a good chair, and they always tell you to have your back be straight and your arms be at a 90-degree angle, like that. And you should sit flat, and your screen should be right at your eye line. You shouldn't have to look up or down at your screen. It should be straight in front of you. Right? So that's what they say if you're working on a computer. So how does that apply to like a Cintiq? Same thing, I would say, just if your Cintiq is here, just have your hand here. Don't have it excessively far away. Don't have it too close. I would say just keep it pretty relaxed. I usually put my keyboard right next to it or under it. Again, try not to have to tilt your head down too much because you will get neck pain. I try to keep my wrist pretty flat. Keep it at a 90-degree angle, keep a straight back, keep your feet on the ground, like that. Right? Like you want to make sure nothing's bending. You don't want your wrist like this when you're typing on a keyboard. You don't want it like this. You want it to be straight. You want your elbow to be a 90-degree angle. You want your other elbow to be kind of a 90-degree angle, but not so bad. You want to take every 20 minutes, you should look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds to let your eyes rest. Make sure you have good lighting in your area, but don't have light coming down onto your screen. If you have like a reflection on your screen that's really bad, your eyes will get really fatigued. So usually that's why I don't turn on my overhead lights when I draw, because there's too much glare. So what I'll do is I'll have like a softer incandescent light in back of my screen or like off to the side. And I think that's important. This is something I do and only I do, and I don't recommend it to anyone, but this is how I usually draw. Usually I'll get my chair and I'll lean back in it like I'm in like a recliner, and then draw like this, right? Like I draw like I'm just chilling. And a lot of times I'll put my legs up on like my computer hard drive. I'm not saying anyone should do this at all. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is probably really bad. Yeah, this is kind of how I draw. I usually have like a neck support too, so it doesn't strain that. My back is pretty relaxed. I draw like this. This is how, if I have to do a lot of work, I try to draw like that. I feel like that's not ergonomically correct, but that's just how I do it. And don't take my advice. I also like to not wear my shoes, but that's a different thing. Shoes are just, I'm from Hawaii, so I don't really prefer shoes. I just don't like them. But yeah, that's about it. Make sure you protect your wrist. If your wrist is getting sore, try to figure out why it's getting sore. If any part of your wrist from your drawing or typing hand, figure out why it's sore and let it rest. Don't overdo it. I know a lot of people will try to like be like, oh, I gotta work through it. Like, figure out why it's painful. If it's like, Google it or try to switch up your work situation or posture or how you're drawing. I used to draw with a really tight grip. Like, I used to grip really hard and with my fourth finger, and I realized that was like making my hand sore. So I literally changed up how I drew. Like, I draw now with my middle finger, and I draw very loose. I also hold it up a little bit higher, so it forces me to draw looser, and that helps a lot of my tension issues in my hand. If you feel any like really tense grip or anything really tight, try to stop that. Like, you want to be semi-relaxed. You don't want to strain yourself. Like, you don't want to feel like you're like having to flex the whole day, because that will cause a lot of problems. So be conscious about how you work. What other? Do exercise outside of work. A lot of people have back problems, and you'll get back problems because you don't have a strong core. So that means like everything's connected in the body, right? Like, every muscle in your body has an opposite muscle. Your biceps have your triceps. Your body is made where each muscle works in tandem with another. So if you're having back issues, that usually means either you're not sitting properly or you have like weak back muscles or weak core muscles. You need to like strengthen both of those. So doing like sit-ups and push-ups are good because they strengthen your front muscles that help give you a straight posture, and then they also strengthen your back muscles so that you don't hunch over. And so that's important for a lot of people because we're sitting down all day, so your muscles atrophy and you get tired and fatigued and you start to have bad posture. You need to maintain your health by doing a little bit of exercise, doing a little bit of stretching, just so those muscles are strong enough to support you for 8 hours a day. I hope that answers your question about posture and whatnot. Helps create the mood. Evan English says, so is it better to have a PDF or animatic, at least on a portfolio website? If you have a PDF, put that on the website. If you have an animatic, put that on the website. You can put both on the website. It's not bad. It's just that they should be able, the goal is that you want to make sure that they can see that you can tell a story. So an animatic can do that, right? Put that on there. If the PDF is easy to click through, put that on there. You know, you don't know if they're watching it on their computer, which can handle animatic, or if they're watching it on their phone, right? So you having both is fine. Just make sure they show that you can tell a story, that it's like beginning, middle, end, that shows that you have good draftsmanship skills, that it shows that you can pace a story, that you have good shot choices, etc., etc. Swarov says, what's a good chair? I have an Aeron chair. They usually have Aeron chairs at work. Those are pretty good. I heard the gaming chairs are pretty good. I want to get one someday just to try, but they're so expensive. Aeron's pretty good. It's kind of the standard. William Duogosh says Wacom remote is pretty cool for ergonomics. 17 hotkeys in your hand. Yeah, that sounds great. Like, that sounds amazing. I know one of my buddies, Roger Oda, he has like a peripheral. Since he's left-handed, he doesn't use a keyboard as much, but he has like this cool peripheral where it has like a knob so you can change that, and it's kind of like a short gaming peripheral, I guess. I don't know what to call it, but it's really cool. Mishi says, hi Dwoo, I'm having a lot of imposter syndrome at work because our deadlines are super tight and I don't have time to polish things. How do you cope with stress? I keep working secret overtime. That's tough. That is tough. I think dealing with, if you're just starting out, it's really hard because you are competing, well, not competing, you're working alongside people who have been in the industry for a while, so they've usually figured out their method. They've usually had more pencil mileage, so they're really quick. I think it's setting parameters to your work, right? Like, do you want your work to be polished, or do you want your work to be finished on a deadline, right? So if the goal is to finish by the deadline, then you need to find out ways that you can cut down on other things. Like, maybe you spent too much time cleaning up one shot, or maybe you spent too much time here. When I started out, I had that problem. Like, I would spend like 10-15 minutes trying to get the drawing right because I wasn't good. Talking to my director, he's like, you should be doing one panel every like 10 minutes. So knowing that meant I'd have to do like 6 panels every hour, or 6 panels every hour, something like that. Like, I had a time frame that I had to get stuff done. So when I was drawing, I would look at the clock and I'm like, oh shit, this panel is taking too long, I would speed it up. Or this panel is taking too long, I would speed it up. And over time, by setting goals and setting like structure to your work, you'll find ways to cut down on being slower, or you'll find ways to speed up the process where you need it to be, and you'll begin to learn what's important to you and also what's important to the team. Imposter syndrome is tough at the start because I think a lot of the job is not really explained to you when you come into the workplace. I don't think anyone really prepares anyone for this job. Being a storyboard artist is very niche, and there's no real good way until you jump in. So I would say just keep doing the work, keep working hard, and asking your director for advice. Like, is this what you wanted? Is this what you expected? How can I improve? And then really listen to what they have to say and take it to heart and try to fix those things. Even now, I feel like I have imposter syndrome as well. Just it just happens. I can't say anything else other than that. It's just, you just have imposter syndrome in general. Like, it doesn't go away. You get good, and then you see people in front of you who are even better, and you're just like, well, I'm not that good, so you gotta keep trying and whatnot, and more, and it's just tough. It's tough. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people, Minmay says, I always wear a wrist brace when I draw. A lot of people use wrist braces. Swarwolf says, yo, I literally just tried moving my grip up my pen and it feels so much better. Yeah, it all depends on what you feel comfortable with and knowing your body. It's very important to pay attention to your body. If it's hurting, try to figure out why it's hurting. Swarwood says, how do you work in regular exercise as a busy storyboard artist? I'm worried once I get into the industry, I'll be too busy or stressed. You just make time for it. You just have to. You have to think that this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. If this is going to be your career, you're going to be doing this for like 30, 40 years, right? If you burn yourself out after 10 years, you still have another 30 years you have to make money and live somehow. So you need to think about things in long term. So staying healthy is a very big part of that. I can't stress it enough to people our age. Between the ages of like 20 and like 30 or late 30s, it's like really important to stay healthy, because as you get older, it's harder and harder to get back to that level. Like I think as a 20-year-old, we take for granted our health because we just get healed. Like you just go to sleep and you wake up and you feel better. When you get older, that's not the case. You wake up and you're like, oh, I'm sore, or oh, I don't feel so good. And it gets harder and harder as you get older. So developing good habits now in terms of exercise and eating is much, much more important. And once you do it consistently for like a month, it becomes so easy. I used to be like 40 pounds overweight and was eating terribly. Like I'd eat fast food, I wouldn't exercise, etc., etc. And I just decided to make a life choice and change my habits. And after about a month of doing it, I couldn't go back to it. Like I can't eat fast food now. It's like it just makes me sick. Like if I eat a burger from like In-N-Out or from like McDonald's, it just tastes so bad. Like I just don't feel good. Soda I can't drink, it's too sweet for me. It just hurts. And so it's just forcing yourself into those habits, and after a while it just becomes easier and easier. It doesn't feel like you're struggling anymore because you've already done the foundational work for it. So to give you a very practical answer, I would say just wake up earlier or exercise after work. Like just do it every other day, spend like 30 minutes doing it, and that's good. Just spend 30 minutes a day walking around a park, or park your car further away from work and walk into work. Maybe not eat fast food every single, like it doesn't have to be a complete 180 shift. It can be like small things. Like maybe this week I'll exercise 2 times. Maybe I'll eat 2 more healthy meals instead of fast food. Like just as long as you're consistent with it, and as long as you are trying to make an effort and incrementally increase it, it will make a difference. Kevin says, yeah, I used to play basketball 5 to 6 times a week, 4-hour chunks, would wake up and feel fine. Man, I tried to play some pickup recently after gaining some weight, and I was sore for a week. Yeah, getting back into shape is way harder than maintaining it. Like there was one point where I stopped running for like a month, and before that I was running maybe about like 9-12 miles a week. When I came back, I was just like, oh my god, like I could barely run 3 miles. I was just like, this is terrible. And so at that point I was like, okay, I just have to keep running. I don't want to come back to the point where I have to start over again. So it's just way easier to maintain, and you feel good after a while. Like if you do it enough, it feels good. Like, which sounds it sounds bad, but it's just like drawing. As you do it more and more, you see yourself improve, and you're like, oh, it's fun. Like I'm learning things, and my work is improving. It's just like pushing through those times when you feel like shit. It's pushing through those times when you feel like you aren't making any progress, and you kind of have to look for that, the silver lining, and have to be conscious about trying to improve. Yale Gilbert says, what can we do? Exercises and cheats to get more confident lines and drawings. I can draw well enough, but my lines keep giving away that I'm an amateur. This was something that I think was taught at Art Center. I'm not 100% sure about it, but basically get like a line paper or something right like this. Or you can just make it on your computer or wherever. And what you do is you draw a circle, and then you draw a circle right next to that circle. And you try to draw circles so that they touch at the top and the bottom and the one next to them like that, right? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to draw circles. You're trying to have a nice gesture, right? Like that. And then afterwards you do like ellipses like this. Same thing. Wow, I'm really terrible at this. Right? So this is to improve your gestural for ellipses and circles and for lines like that. Another thing that is good is try to draw a straight line just horizontally like that, and then try to draw another straight line underneath it. And then another one. It's a little bit harder on the computer because I think the screen makes it a little bit different, but try to do that, right? Try to just draw lines, long lines like this that get really close but don't touch, and try to be as straight as possible. And then do vertical ones, right? So you do the horizontal ones, now you do the vertical ones. And go slow at first. Go at a speed that you feel comfortable with, right? And so do that. Just do this. Do all these exercises, and slowly you'll find it making it work better. I know there's this one artist that I used to work with. He said he could draw ellipses by hand perfectly, and you could just tell him the gradient, the amount of percentage you want. So you'd be like, oh, you want a 10% ellipse? And he just, boom, he'd just do it. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty good. He's like, oh, he could draw like a perfect circle by hand, which was pretty impressive. And this was back before computers, so I think he kind of just had to teach himself. Let me do that, right? Then you can do it the other way. Start from the bottom of the circle and draw. Oh man, these are terrible. Do you guys ever watch people doing like Japanese calligraphy? When you write things out in kanji, there is a specific order to the strokes that you do. So let's say this is the kanji for I, or watashi, right? There's a specific reason they do the lines like this, right? And if you look at how they draw, they are very like purposeful. They have a rhythm to them, and there's like a ease in and ease out. Drawing should kind of feel like that after a while. You should feel like you are making these lines and you have control over what you're doing. You have control over the direction you're going. You don't have to know exactly what it's looking like, but you should feel it, and you should like see it moving in the way you do it. And you should know when to stop, and you should feel those rhythms in your hand. And that just takes time. That takes time and practice, right? Yeah, that was the Peter Hahn stuff in his dynamic sketching. It helped me a lot too. Like I probably should do that. Like so this is kind of like exercise as well, where I would start the morning doing that. Like I would sit down and be like, okay, here we go. Let's do like, just spend 30 minutes of this, like just drawing, right? Just 30 minutes. 30 minutes it seems like a long time, but it's not. It goes by really fast. So I just do that, and you just do it to get you warmed up, to get you in the space, to get your head in there, and then you do your work. You do whatever you need to do, whatever. Yeah, Caleb Carr says there are YouTube videos. I think there are videos on YouTube or Instagram or wherever. So same. Minmay says, I also use only a pen so I don't get tempted with erasing. Yeah, I usually do it on paper and pen, and I just do it on any paper. It doesn't have to be like special paper. I just do it on like cheap newsprint, and I just do it. And you just keep doing it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it. So, yeah, Swearwolf says, how you look up definitions for kanji is via the stroke order too. Yes, you count the number of strokes. So like heat is 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's like a very specific order and why they do it that way. There's very much intention, and I think that's why people in Japan and just Asia in general are very good at drawing, is because they have to do so much of it when they write, right? And they're very intentional about their strokes. I think in America, we aren't very deliberate about the way we write. We have very terrible handwriting. And I think that's because we don't practice the art of writing. Black and White 01 says, do you have any thoughts on production slowly adding more roles to a storyboard artist position? For example, being expected to time out scenes, create animatics, and studio and audio, add audio, etc., etc. Hold on a second. Let me make notes of this. I think. Oh, that's a complicated topic. I think it's dependent upon the production. I think sometimes. I think that's production dependent. Some productions make you do a lot, some don't. The people making you do it aren't typically the line producer or production person. It's usually like the director or like the showrunner is like, I want to see it this way, right? When they start a show, they usually have an idea of the budget and how much time it takes, etc., and how much they're paying people. So if the showrunner or director or whoever's in charge of it knows that they are cheaping out on that, I feel like that's bad, right? Like, at the same time, I think, I think doing it sometimes is okay. Like, I'll do it sometimes based upon scenes. Like, if I want this scene to be this way, I'll time it out to match that. I'll add in whatever I need to really sell that moment. Do I think it should be mandatory? I think, again, it depends. Like, are you getting paid more? Are you getting more time? Like, did you sign up to this when you came onto the job, right? Like, if you decide to come onto the job knowing this, then that's a different subject. If this is a way to save money on the productions end, like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, it's so complicated. It's so complicated. We can talk about that later, because let's get back to the storyboards, because that's what people come here for. I hope that answered all your questions about drawing and about getting better at confident lines. It's another good thing to do or practice, just really quickly before we move on, is trying to draw without lifting your pen up. That teaches you how to draw with like contours. It teaches you how to be a little bit more confident with your technique. I think it's just doing it, right? Trying not to erase is an important skill. What I'll do if I'm drawing at a computer is I'll just sit down and take my other hand that I'm not drawing with and like put it somewhere where I can't touch the keyboard. So it forces me to think about the lines I'm making. It forces me to be like, okay, I'm going to do this line, and then like, what would be the next line on the other side? Like, how do I make that hit come out, right? How do I make this work? And it forces you to slow down and think about things a little bit more. It's important to do that. So, I don't know what this guy's doing. Oh, I should have done it like that. It's just, you just have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. It'll come. It'll come. Okay, let's look at Kevin's storyboards. Oh, I should download it first, actually. I'm going to get some water. Oh. I was drinking coffee earlier. I don't think it's good for my throat when I'm talking so much. All right. Oh, this is a big file, or maybe my computer's just slow. No problem. Not a problem. You guys can keep asking questions about storyboard stuff. I'll try to get to all of it. Oh, why is there two of him? Why are there two? That's weird. Let's put that all together. What is this? Sitting posture. Arms. Faces. More arms. But away. so you can just click through it. Cool. There you go. Whoa. Are you guys having a good time? You guys having... I haven't been making as many jokes tonight. I feel like I'm a little so focused at work today. I didn't get time to joke around. So this is Kevin's boards. It's called All Out with a dog. All Out. So we go start. Comes into the scale. Puts in the money. Gets a prize. Sweet. I got the last one. Yes. Yeah. Walks away. Pan up to the mom. That was the last one. Walks away. Guy follows. Hey. Bummer that they ran out, huh? Yeah. Don't sweat. We'll get one on the next shot. Yeah, that's the right attitude. Sold out. Kicks it. Falls over. Boom. Hits him back. Whoosh. Ding, ding, ding. Bounces over. Ding, ding, ding. If we keep trying, we'll find some eventually. Boom, 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 boom. We just need to keep trying. Whoa. Comes past camera. What was that? Yeah, I think it was. Well, who needs it? Remember, we'll both get one on the next. What? Did she hit him? Oh, she did. Hits him. See you later. Smell you later. Ha ha. Ha ha. Oh my god. He just kicks him off his bike. Oh, it's pretty good. Running, running. Goes for it. Trips on something. Oh. Boom, boom, boom. Poor baby. Goes off on a rocket ship. Coming after the thing. It's pretty cool. Oh my god, they all died. Ball bounces out. They both come through. Land, they're running. Dog gets it. Eats it. They're coming toward him. No, that's mine. That's mine. Eats. Oh, it does eat it. Oh. Stops. Sit down. Oh, they're waiting for it to poop. Very nice. Priyank and Roy says, is it better to send just storyboard PDF files rather than sending a bad timed IMAC? I think, well, it's hard to say what a badly timed IMAC is. I'm just send both. If the IMAC is too slow, I'll let you know. But if you have the IMAC cut already, just send it. Send the storyboards too, and we can time through it. If you're Bouillon from earlier, I don't think it was poorly timed. I think it was timed fine. I'm saying if it's not a good indication of the story, or if it doesn't enhance the work you've done, then don't include it or fix it. No one expects you to cut and max of all your storyboards, so if you're going that extra mile to do it, just make sure it's good. Okay, so this is pretty funny. I think the story overall is straightforward. I like it. My overall note would be shot choice, right? I think you have a lot of medium flat shots, and I think this is where what whatchamacallit was talking about earlier was talking about dynamic shots, right? Like, you can kind of tell when a shot is a little bit flat or a little bit it could have a better composition. A lot of times you'll know is because there will be a lot of open space in the shot. Like, there will be open space and it's not super thick. You want to have more thickness to it, so you want like foreground elements or whatever's, and you want to have the world populate a little bit, right? Like, this seems kind of weird because it's just in the middle of a street, and I don't know where you would find like a gachapon machine in the middle of the street. So that feels weird. This would be like an arcade, or maybe it'd be on the side of the street somewhere. So that might help to indicate better, right? Like all this is happening like in the middle of the street or on a pier or something, but it doesn't feel like it's taking place anywhere specific. So definitely change that up. Make sure you get a little bit more thickness. Make sure your composition is a little bit better. This is a cool banana pan, but I think maybe there's a better shot. Maybe because we don't. For one, you said there were no more, and then there is no more in here until it cracks open, right? So when it cracks open, we should probably get like a close-up shot of this or something to show where that came from, because I thought there weren't any more. That's cool. This is fine. I think this is cool. I like that a lot. Right? And then this is kind of a cool joke, but I think you probably could have just done it right here. Just have her punch him right here in this shot. It happens much faster, and it's just funnier. This is cool, but it's also not a very dynamic shot either. It's very flat. Like, if you're going to... We should also probably see him getting hit and not have it be a black card. Just have him getting hit. I think the other thing that's weird about this shot is that even though it makes sense for him to get hit that way, it's kind of pushing him towards the goal of the bouncy ball or the gachapon. So it feels kind of counterintuitive. If anything, she should hit him the other way and run towards it, because she wants to get to it faster. Again, this is kind of... the shot's really funny. It's just a little flat. It's fine if this shot is flat because it reads so well. But I feel like it needs something else, right? Like, they're both laughing, ha 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 ha. And then maybe there needs to be like a close-up or something of the guy where they're both laughing. So he's laughing, ha 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 ha. The boy's laughing, ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Right, they're both laughing. And then we got a shot of him just being like... We see his expression change. He's like, nope, now it's not funny anymore. And then we get the expression of the kid being like, oh shit. Right? Because right now, it feels a little bit flat. And we're not really getting a whole lot out of it. Boom. Kicks. Then we can have the kick off. And then maybe from here we could have a cool dynamic shot. Especially since this action is very cool. You might want a more dynamic shot for him revving up the motorbike or the trike. And this is where those cool Ethan dynamic shots you want to use, because you really want to sell the idea of like... Right? You want to pop a wheelie or something. You want to have like that close-up shot of the back tire skidding out. Right? Think about like all the Fast and the Furious movies. That's kind of what you want, right? Or whatever that looks, Fast and Furious, like that. You want like the, even though it doesn't make sense, but I think it'd be like a funny gag as you have like him holding the handlebar for it. And he's like, vroom, vroom, vroom. He just makes the sound effects. Just do the sound effects for it. Have him do the sound effects. See some tassels on it. I think you just need a little bit more variety to your shots to give it a little bit more interest, because this is all happening in very flat shots. And that's fine to have flat shots. You just need to mix in other not flat shots. Right? And this kind of just how you can take out these first couple panels, just have this one, and this one, because with it so far away, it kind of gives away the joke a lot faster. Just have it start here. Boom, falls, lands, that's fine. Comes in. Again, you can kind of tell when a shot is flat if there's a lot of open space around here, and you might just need to change up the camera angle. Like, it's fine maybe for this shot, but feels I would suggest looking at other right, such like that. Oh, let's draw them in different colors. Right, having a little bit of layering of the characters, having different shot choices is important. I think so there's less, like I was talking about how the other shot was a little bit flat. It's because there's a lot of open space up here and open space here, and you want to kind of like have your characters fill up all that space. You want to find dynamic angles so that there isn't as much open space, so that you can still get all that information and you're closer on the things that are important. You can have him doing it here, and then at the end when he drives away, she can get up, she can bring her head up and still going to be close to camera at this point. It's going to be close enough to camera where we can get her expression like right, maybe she's starting to get up too. So I think a way to get better at shot choices like this is just by studying by looking at films and, you know, drawing their shots, seeing how they stage things. Over time, you'll build up a library of shots in your head that you can go to. Because right now, this is feeling a little bit flat. Right? You could have, yeah, that's fine. You might not even need this shot here. You can probably just cut to that, and then we'll just see her on the firework and start tighter on her, and then truck out to show the rocket, right? And you really want to sell the rocket, the size of the rocket, by, you know, using different shots to really play up the perspective stuff. I think the story is funny enough and ridiculous enough for it to happen. It's just the shots, like I said earlier, should support all of that. You might also want to put some type of like brace on the bottom for it, because I don't know how it's standing up right now. right? So something like that, maybe start. Yeah, so something like maybe like switch colors. There you go. Start closer on it and then widen out, like maybe a snap truck out or something. Can even Dutch it a little bit like that. Maybe better that way. Boom. So now the rocket seems really big. It's imposing. It has a little bit more three-dimensionality to it, etc., etc. Whoa. That's cool. That's fine. That's cool. See, that's cool. This shot's cool. You just might not want to have to draw it. So if you can find another angle or something, maybe not draw it, or have her, because you don't want to have to draw these buildings at some point, and this shot would never happen in animation because it's way too dense. I think an easier shot would be to have the character take up more of the screen space. So you do like an over the shoulder shot of her, right? So here she's on the rocket. This is her. And maybe, oh shit. Here she is on the rocket. Maybe we might see a little bit in the back. But because she's taking up so much of the screen space already, you just do it. That's one way to hide stuff. And then two, you can have the background in back of it move or whatever instead. And that's a more dynamic shot than the one you had before. Since the other ones were kind of stationary, this one will give it a little bit more excitement and whatnot. So you do that. You have like an over the shoulder shot that kind of tracks with her as she catches up to the guy. There you go. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Have her getting closer here. Have her getting closer in this shot because I'm not exactly sure what's happening here. She's just kind of like hanging in the air. Have her get closer. That's cool. That's cool. That's good. That's good. Oh, that's funny. You might want to think about their action a little bit more, how they land and start running. It feels a little stiff, so maybe look at some animation reference. They might be like flipping through the air. They seem very casual about all of this, and I'm not sure if that's what you want, but if it is, then that's fine. Another way to think about your shots is like, where's the horizon line in this? If your horizon line is kind of in the same space or the same spot the whole time, you might want to think about changing that up. Right now, the horizon line is kind of a down shot. This is a down shot, and then the next one's a down shot. And the next one's a down shot. And then the next one is still kind of a down shot. And then this is like flat on, and then up shot. So you want to kind of switch that up as well. You want to switch up like your down shots and up shots and all that stuff. Again, there's a lot of open space you want to like play with or fill up. That's fine. All that's cool. But overall, I think the story is fun. I think you have a good idea of what you want. It's just kind of like polishing the shot choice and kind of polishing some of the drawings a little bit more to really sell those ideas. Because that is half of it. You want to sell the story. Like, just having the shots there isn't enough. The shots should enhance the story and make it funny. You want to be able to make it, give them a good chuckle, a guffaw. You want to get those guffaws and laughs and all that stuff. So you want to find the most optimal way to do that. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions about that? I'm gonna get a little bit of water. I'm gonna grab a cough drop too. Okay, I don't know where I put my cough drops, so I'm just gonna eat a gummy instead. I have these frog gummies I'm gonna have instead. Hopefully it'll help. Yeah, Kevin says, thanks, I'll get to work on those notes. Can we resubmit after some revisions? Yeah, sure, whenever. Like, you can resubmit as many times as you want. I don't know if I'll always get to it, but yeah, feel free. I have no problems looking at it. I love seeing people's work improve and seeing, because it also helps me. Like, maybe I'm explaining the ideas wrong, or maybe there's a different way for me to explain how to change up your shots, or we can always like workshop them and figure out, oh, maybe this shot is working, that shot needs fixing, or maybe we can switch it around. Sometimes it's just shot order as well. So yeah, feel free to submit it, resubmit it. Okay. Did other people submit stuff too? Aidan submitted at 8:09 and Gem 8:35. Let's see if we can do both before the end of the night. That kind of helped. The gummy frog kind of helped. Those are good. Those are really good. Have you guys seen these before? They are like, I'm sorry if the audio's all fucked up now, but look at this. They're like nice little green gummy frogs. On one side, it's kind of like sour, well, like sour appley, but not sour. On the other side, it's like a nice marshmallowy, soft texture. Oh, so good. They're so good. So good. Probably super unhealthy, but so tasty. All right. Are these done downloading? All right, let's take a look at Aidan's. What's your guys' favorite candy? I think mine would have to be Nutter Butters. Well, maybe that's not candy. Favorite candy. Maybe Almond Joys. Almond Joys are really good. Maybe Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Ooh, those are... Oh, so good. Kit Kats. Kit Kats are up there. Okay, so this is Aidan's cloak. Start with people walking. You know, if you hadn't tried to 1v1 that troll, you wouldn't have lost your coat. You could have helped me. The plan was to hide, so I hid. Sometimes plans change, you... What? Shh. Look. It's a troll. Wipe his mouth. Huh? He has my cloak. Okay, let's wait till he goes to sleep. And then, no, we go now. Runs out. Oh, no, he's too dangerous. We have surprise and numbers on. If we wait, we won't have to fight at all. I'm freezing here. I can't wait any longer. And that's the end of it. Okay, cool. Cool. So, nice. You're using the thick lasagna layering. I like it. I think that's good. You might want to, because it's so symmetrical, You might need to add a little bit something here, just on this side, just to give it a little bit more flow. But that's fine. I like the thickness. That's cool. I like that. I like this. Yeah, I think your shots are working. This is a little bit weird of a cut. Because I'm not quite sure how the plants work, right? He was on... So this is like an upshot of them walking toward camera, and they pull her off to the side like that. And they come in, but somehow they're... I'm not 100% sure where the it's supposed to be, right? Like I think you probably could have gone, you can probably take out this shot right here. I think if you go from this to this, that would be fine. Or even widen out a little bit more. Because this shot is confusing. And I think it's confusing because we don't see the tree in the previous shot, and also because this mass of like bushes stuff is kind of hard to figure out their dimensionality to it. They feel very flat in the previous shot, so when we see it again in this shot, it feels kind of flat-ish again, and it's hard to figure out where all this is taking place. So you can probably cut this shot, just widen out on this shot a little bit more so we can see where blue guy is and not just see his hand. Will that work? Let's see. Let us see if that will work. So this shot. Right, and you can probably... So what I would do is actually add in another pose here after this one where we actually see them go off screen. Right, they should completely go off screen so we don't see them. Right, we don't see them, they go off screen. And then this one, yeah, it's hard. I think it's hard because the way he pulls her off is he pulls her off in back of her. So he's like facing the camera on this shot, right? And then he swings her around so that technically she's in back of him, and then they land, but she's next to him. And then the next shot, it kind of looks like she's in back of him again, but then again in this shot, she's in front of him. So it has like a weird, tracking them gets a little bit funky, their screen position. So I think it'd just be easier if you just go from this shot to either this shot to this shot. I think it's fine. I think that's fine. Personally, I would like to have like another... I'd like to see him in this shot with her, just so it doesn't feel like it's just so close. I feel like there needs to be someone here, or else it just feels a little odd, right? Like it's a little unsettling just to see a hand come away from screen, and that could be a stylistic choice, which is fine. I would just add in someone, a little bit of someone, probably like shift it over a little bit like that, have this person like that, and I think that is fine, right? I think that'll work better. You'll probably need to add in more poses, but I guess I'm assuming this is just rough for now, so that's fine. This is fine. That's funny. You should add in like another shot of like it getting really messy and dirty. So it's just like, oh, that upsets her. That's getting really messy. You probably, unless we see your expression change here, then you probably don't need that shot. You can probably just cut back to this one. Or be like, he has my cloak. Wait till he goes to sleep. That's fine. That's a cool truck out. That's good. It's too dangerous. We have surprise. You might want to do OTS of the guy on this one, so go back to the other shot. Because it's too much, the wide shot of the two of them, it's getting kind of a little bit too repetitive. So you want to add in that OTS shot again every once in a while. To break up that rhythm. You have over the shoulder shots of her. So you can probably add in like an over-the-shoulder shot. Yeah, like that, but add it in a little bit earlier and maybe a little bit wider. Just a little bit wider. And you can do the counting here in this shot too, so you don't have to go back to the wide, the flat shot. Right? So something like that. So you go from this one to the OTS shot I had before. If we won't have to fight at all. I'm freezing here. I can't wait any longer. Then that's where it ends. That's fine. I think you have the right shot choices. I think it's just kind of finagling the composition a little bit and rearranging some of them, because you do have all the shots that you need. It's just making sure that you don't keep going back to this one. I think this one is really flat. This shot is really flat and it doesn't really give us a whole lot, so it's fine to go to it. Just I think the fact that you went to it quite a bit kind of started to make it feel a little bit flat, or it didn't add intensity. You kind of want to build a little bit in your storyboard. So yeah, so that's my thought on that. And we already talked about the confusion with this. I think the other thing is just adding in more poses, because we want to see the bushes without her here and then she pops up, so we get that type of reveal. But like I said, these are probably just rough, so it's fine. Yeah. Cool. Cool. I like it. You guys have some very cool stories. I'm digging them. All right. And then gems for the last one of the night. Let's take a look. Oh, those froggies aren't settling in me so well now. Jolly Ranchers for Caleb Carr. Whoa. Jolly Rancher. I haven't had Jolly Rancher in a long time. Eldrick Scribe says Kit Kats and Crunch Bar. Minmay says Kit Kats. Kevin says Butterfingers, but I only have it once a year. Also, peanut butter is goat, but good luck with your teeth. Yeah, peanut butter is great. It's just like, oh man, that'll like mess you up. That'll mess you up something good. Ooh, this one's a long one. Cinderman. It's raining. Pan over. We see someone dead. Whoa, look at that lighting. Maybe it was like a car drove by. Looks down. It has like a Kira feel to it, I think. Pulls up. Wait, what was he holding? I didn't see what he was holding. Was it a helmet? A bag? Oh, it's a bag and a gun. Okay. Looks inside the bag. Oh, he looks in the bag. And he steps back. Falls, hits his head. Don't. It's some type of drug. Truck out from it. Dun dun dun. Comes out, falls again, runs away. I imagine that's him running around the corner. Run, 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 run. Run, run, run. Look at those thick shots. Thick. Nice and thick. Gets inside. Knocks. Opens the door. Wait, did she let him in? Or she just... Oh, yeah, she let him in. Lets him in. Walks by, drafts down. Puts the bag on the table. Yo, bro, what'd you bring me? Whoa. Oh. Wait, what happens? Wait. I'm kind of confused by that cut. Grabs his shoulders like, you were supposed to bring me that peanut brittle, damn it. They didn't have any. Where is the peanut brittle? Pushes him away. I only see Skittles. Pushes him again. Take your damn Skittles with you. Come back when you have the peanut brittle. Closes the door. Wait a minute. Okay, and then we cut to a different door and he opens it. Pouring out some juice. That's juice. That's definitely apple juice. Looks around. Clinking the glass. Hey, I want some apple juice. Pushes it. Oh! Bumps into the guy. Drinks. Knocks the bag. Tries to get the bag. Goes to grab it. Pan up to see BTS on the couch. Hey, bro. Did you bring the Skittles? Walks over. Bodyguards come. Picks his ear. I'm eating my earwax, but that's about it, bro. Shows him the bag. Drops it. Opens it up. I told you. I want Skittles. I want peanut brittle. I want... take your damn Skittles with you and leave. Why does no one get... I like peanut butter. Come here. We're going to teach him a lesson. Here's crunchy. Ooh! And here's the smooth. Spits on him. He's outside now. Close the door. Damn it. Walks forward. Hits the wall. Sits down. He's like, ugh. Looks up. Help me. Where can I find peanut brittle? Kicks him. Oh, he's like, I can help you, buddy. Peanut brittle. We got a 4-2-1 in progress with peanut brittle. Guys come, pick him up. I heard you're looking for some chunky peanut butter. No. Like I said, where am I? Huh? Twizzlers, red vines. Step forward. Okay. So I think there's a lot of good here. I think you have pretty good draftsmanship. Your stuff is pretty well polished, and I think you have a good handle on shot choices and dynamic shots and pacing. There are a couple places where I think you could improve upon, and I think it's not big fixes. It's more just like I'm confused than anything, right? It's very small changes. So like he's in the alleyway. I couldn't really tell he was opening a bag here. You have to make it like a lot bigger. And again, this shot has a lot of open space around him. So you kind of want to fill that stuff up. Or cut closer, or whatever you have to do. You just need to not have that huge open space. I think that's fine. Let's go over here. Right, so he brings it up. You should have it much bigger in frame or something like that. And then we really want to see him open it up. So when it opens it up, it can be exaggerated. That's not really how duffel bags work, but just make it exaggerated so we can see him opening it. Otherwise, it'll get lost on the bottom over here. It's so small here that it's hard to tell what's going on. So you want to... Let me do this in a different... Let me draw him in a different color so you can see what I mean. That's not a good color. You know what it is? There you go. There you go. So but you want to have it be more in frame so that you can see more of it. Because right now it's happening too far off frame, that or too low in the frame, so it's hard to see what he's doing. The other thing you could probably do is probably be a little bit down like that, a little bit. I don't think you need a truck in, but maybe just lower it a little bit so that he's more centered. That'll be fine. What happens after this? That feels like a weird cut from here to here because he's tilted in this shot and then the next shot is straight on. So if you're going to do like a snap truck in on his face, like, or a cut to his face, have it be in the same camera angle, right? If you're going to do the next shot, have it just be the same thing but closer. So 3/4 up shot at the guy instead of like straight on. Right, so the audience won't get confused by the jumpingness of it. Peanut brittle or Skittles. He was supposed to be carrying peanut brittle. Does that make sense? Like, it does the same thing. It's just not jarring because it feels like the camera like twists a little bit. It goes with a song. Oh, Caleb's car says, yeah, no problem, Caleb, anytime. Anytime. Kevin says it reminds me of Gits and Akira. Great drawings. Yep. Jem says it goes with the song. Plot probably makes more sense if it was with the song. That's fine. We can talk about that later. We'll just focus on the shots then. We'll just focus on shot choices right now. So, yeah, just keep in the same angle. Him backing up is fine. I think you can probably just go from that shot to take out this one and just cut to him falling, backing up against the wall like that. I'm not sure if there's like an animate around. If it's not, then just keep it without having to turn the guy, because I don't think that's important. That's fine. Looks like it trucks in and then trucks out. Runs out. Oh, it falls down. It's cool. Again, I'm not sure what this shot is. If it's animating with him, you might need more panels, but otherwise you can just cut from here with him going off screen. You don't need this shot. Him running down the street. Running down the street with my peanut, or running down the street with my Skittles. I'm in trouble. Better watch out for those bad guys because they're looking for peanut brittle. Coming to my neighbor's door, knocking on it. Let me in. I got the goods for you. Let me see what you got. He gets angry. Okay. All that was good. This part right here was a little bit confusing when he opens the door, because he disappears. I'm not sure where the guy goes. You might need to have like an arm out here of him just like walking off screen or something, and that would make it more readable. This is cool. Again, I'm not sure why he's red here. You might just need to change that. That's fine. Puts down the bag. Lifts up, bends down. You got the money and the peanut brittle. I'm not sure. Okay, so this is where things start to get confusing. Like, why do we need to go to like this shot here? And then I'm not sure what this shot is. Like, was it like a rotating pan around him as he stands up? Because I don't think you need that. You can probably just go from this shot, stay on this shot of him being like shook, and then maybe he just gets up quickly and he just grabs him. Like, this takes too long and it doesn't seem like there's enough intensity. Where's that peanut brittle? Damn it! I wanted peanut brittle, not Skittles. Pushes it. Does he push him here and then grabs him again and pushes him? Yeah, just make sure when he pushes him, it's like very clear that he's pushing him. And then grabs him and then I'm kind of confused. If he's just pushing him, he doesn't have to grab his collar. He just can have him keep pushing him. As for this, you can take out this shot and stuff. It doesn't really give too much more. You can just add in a shot of him like quickly standing up and then already have his hands on him. Like, you can start tighter on the hands, grabbing his coat and then trucking out, right? Or you can just have him grabbing his jacket here and then cutting straight to his reaction. Like, you don't need to show him like zoned out and then standing up and then grabbing him. Like, that happens too slow. You can just go from him being like fuck to grabbing him to this shot. It happens faster. It's a lot like, I was thinking like a wipe. Yeah, I think you need to animate that out more if that's a wipe, because the camera trucks out and then suddenly it looks like it trucks back in. If you just kept it in the shot and he went past camera, that might be fine, but again, this happens like super slow, and unless you want it to be like that build up, that's fine. But I think it could just be like, he looks at the money, he's like, oh fuck, cut to the coat, you see hands come in and grab it, cut to his face, and then that's it. You don't need all these extra shots. And then you just cut back to his reaction afterwards, and he's like, no, I thought you wanted Skittles. Where's the peanut butter or the peanut brittle? It pushes him. If he pushes him, have him make sure it pushes, like make sure you see him, his arms extended and his fingers out. Again, yeah, same thing. That's fine. You might need to have a shot where he's just standing there and then the hands come in, because this looks like he throws his hands here and it cuts to him throwing the bag somehow. So you just might need another shot just to make it hook up better. This feels like another weird cut. I'm not sure if it's because it's a music video that you want to do like this transition. If that's the case, then that's fine. It just feels a little bit jarring because it's like the exact same door but different door. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I guess since it's a music video, it's fine. Peanut brittle, peanut brittle, peanut brittle. It's cool, cool. Be careful with all these flat shots of the close-up stuff. With close-ups, because there's close-ups, you can kind of get away with more unique angles. If you just keep doing flat shots of close-ups, it's not very exciting. So like maybe a 3/4 down shot or a 3/4 up shot, or just like really close to the glass. Yeah, all these like flat shots, you need to kind of like change it up because it's not exciting. Especially since since it looks like he's holding the drink low to the table. If you're drinking like a drink, you like pull it up to your mouth or something, you like hold it around your chest level. You wouldn't have it be close to the bottom of the table like that. So yeah, it's fine to have like a couple of flat shots, but you want to switch it up. Like either have like, and Cowboy Bebop, of course. Cowboy Bebop does that really, really well. They have a lot of shots of close-up stuff that just looks super interesting. They have shots of glasses actually with drinks in them, so you can look at that for reference. So like 3/4 down shot like that. You don't even have to show the whole glass. People know what a glass with ice cubes in it looks like. something like that, but just draw it better than I did. For like someone holding a glass, you can do like a 3/4 up shot or something, or maybe just like that might be a little complicated just because you have to show the inside of the hand, so maybe not that. Let's not do that one. Right, so get creative. Close-ups are fun because you can get pretty creative with them. They don't, at least in anime, you can get pretty creative with them. You don't have to be super explicit about what you're shooting all the time. Since you set it up in the first couple of shots, we know what it is. Right? So you can kind of just hint at it now, and it'll be fine. Things like that. Things like, you probably want like the shot of the lips. Get those BTS lips in there. Ooh, yeah, baby. Glug, 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 glug. Get that nice nose. Yeah. So get creative with your close-ups. Get creative. C-E-R. Did you guys ever watch Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared? Fuck, what is that song? How's the song go? It's like, let's get creative. Oh, give me a second. Give me a second. A hot second. You want to get creative. Here. Here. We just need to hear the opening line.
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative. I just try to think creatively.
All right, so let's get creative. Let's get creative. Pushed him into it. Oh, he hits the thing. Oh, there you got the lips drinking. But it's all flat shots, so you want, like I said, you want to switch it up. Wait, so he gets hit twice? He gets bumped once. Holds on to it. And then he gets bumped again by a different guy. I think it's kind of confusing because it feels like he's getting bumped by the same guy. So you want to be like 1, 2, and then 3. Like, and they're coming from different, they should be coming from different areas or different angles, I guess. And it all should be coming from different people too. It shouldn't be, if it's the same person bumping him, that feels a little weird. That's fine. That's cool. That's cool. You might need to work on your perspective a little bit. What's your favorite idea? Mine's thinking creatively. How do you get the idea? Just by being creative. What do you see in these clouds? I see a tree. I see a plant. I see a... Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Let's see where this horizon line is. God damn it. There you go. Something like that. Nope. There you go. That's pretty close. So the horizon line is somewhere around here, right? Something like that. It doesn't have to be exact. It's close enough. So if it's at his waist, let's see what it looks like in the next shot. If it's at his waist, then the bag is like super big. Right? The bag is too big for it to be at his waist level. It should be maybe like that big. So that when he stands next to it, his knees would be like that. Something feels off. Yeah, the bag just feels really big. I think the bag is feeling a little too big. Oh, so it is the same guy hitting him? So he hits him once, and then we cut away, which takes time, and then he hits him again? Is it intentional that he hits him twice like that? I feel like it'd be fine if you just hit him once and he dropped the bag. I don't think you need 2 shots of him getting hit. Like, you could just be... He gets hit here, the bag goes flying off, and then the guy sips his drink, and then he scoots through them, and he comes out, and then it pans up. Like, I don't think you need all those extra shots. And the bag should be small. I think the bag should be a little bit smaller, so that when he's standing next to it, his knees are above it, right? I get that it's the same bump in different angles, but let me explain my train of thought, right? So it's like it's cuts. They're dancing. He gets bumped. Ooh. And then we cut to this guy drinking where it's like, and then he gets bumped again. Like it happens too slowly between the 2 shots. So it feels like he's trying to cut on the, you can cut on the action, but you need to have the action happen shot after shot. It can't be interrupted by a middle shot, because someone drinking their drink isn't going to be like, it's going to be slow and deliberate. So that feels like too much time has passed between the 2 shots. So it should be bump and then immediately bump again like that, right? Then you put the drinking shot afterwards. You can have the drinking shot right after this one, and then he goes and has to get it, and that's fine. Or you can have the drinking shot just before he comes out here. That would be fine too. But you can't separate the cutting on action with a separate shot, because then there's too much time has passed. It doesn't feel like it's instantaneous. Cutting on action works if it's action and then the action again. So it should be like boom, punch, pushed, and then pushed again right here. That's fine, and that works. And then drinking, and then him walking through here. Or you can put the drinking after this shot, and then him coming out like that. Either or, it all works. But you just need to have the cutting on action at the same time. You just need to have the cutting on action on the cutting on shot to shot. Shot. Same thing with this one. I think the bag is getting a little bit big. Just shrink it down and then start with a tighter field and then pan, truck out. Pan, truck out. The bag just feels a little bit big. You also want to hook up your poses. In this one, he has a drink here on his lap like that. And then the next one, it's up here. Just make sure you hook up those poses. That's cool. you probably don't need this profile shot of him walking here. I don't think it really sells anything. Just have him walk in this shot. Have him get closer to camera. And then... I'm not quite sure what happened there. Okay. So start here on him. Right. Then he walks forward towards camera. He just gets bigger. Right? And then take out that shot. Mike Ware says, I don't remember when I subscribed to this channel, but these tips are crazy helpful. Thanks, mysterious YouTuber. Yes, you know me. I am the tuxedo mask of the storyboard world. I'm away. Okay, this shot feels a little weird because the perspective feels like he's in the ground. Like, I assume this is the guy. This is like somewhere just below his ribcage, I imagine. So he's like half... Yeah, they're coming to block him, but he's too low in the frame. Like, we would... If this is the perspective that you're going for, like this, something like this, maybe it's a little bit lower, something like that. He's too low in the frame, so that's why the shot's a little bit confusing. If he were, because this guy's crotch here is like this, right? Something like that. Oops. Yeah, I get what you're... If you're going to like argue with my notes, that's fine. I just won't give notes. I'm trying to tell you why I think it looks weird. I get what you're doing. If you don't want to take the notes, that's fine. I'm not trying to criticize you. I'm trying to tell you what I'm thinking and how you can improve it. Like, I'm not going to keep like trying to explain to you my thought process. So if the perspective of this shot is somewhere down here around their mid-thigh, even if the guy was shorter, let's say it's still like that, like it hits his crotch, so he's effectively like a half thigh shorter than the guys, then he would still be like taking up this frame size. So to do this shot properly, you kind of need to adjust the perspective or just take out the guy altogether. Just have them look more towards camera. Can't draw. Drawing too fast. Gotta slow it down. Let's grab that. Right, so you want to bring it closer, and you want them looking towards the camera, so we're in the guy's perspective. Otherwise, if you have him in the shot, it doesn't work. He's too close to the camera, or he's going to be, it's not as imposing because he's going to be too close, and the perspective kind of breaks when you get it to that point. Right, and you can probably push it a little bit more. You can probably turn them a little bit more and widen them out. Right, it's a subtle change, but oops, that guy didn't get included in that group. It's a subtle change, but it has the feeling you want. You want them imposing and whatnot. Flip the perspective and do a down shot on the smaller dude. Yeah, that works too. If you flip it to the other guy, that's fine, but I think we haven't seen the other guys yet, so it doesn't work yet. We need to establish the bodyguard people being imposing. And now it works because we're not fudging with the perspective as much, right? From his point of view, it will work. The perspective will work. You bend it to it, but if the guy's in the shot, it doesn't work at that point. Okay. And then that's fine. This is cool. This is cool. That works too. I don't think you need to have them come back into the shot. You could just have them separate and then go away. Puts it down. That's fine. That works. You have to be careful with this because now the camera's far enough away that the guy should be in the shot again, right? Like technically, if he dropped the bag on the table here, he's effectively one arm away from the table, right? So in this shot, he should be in the middle of it, technically. So either have him like stand up after he drops it, like back away, or have him toss the bag in this shot or something, you know? Like, because spatially they're kind of like getting mixed up. They're getting too close and whatnot. It's fine. Don't worry about it, Jim. Spatially, it's just getting a little bit weird at this point. So you need to like, you can smooth it out with the action. You can just have him toss the bag. So he can be further away and he's not so close that he's an arm length away. You can just have him toss it at this point and it'll work. Right? So you don't have to change anything else. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Wait, what? That's fine. That's fine. That works. Yeah, I think I think maybe adding in a person here uh is fine. I think it's kind of confusing because that next guy comes out of nowhere. Like, I get that he's looking at the camera, but it's just, because technically there should be the two bodyguards, right? They're like, one bodyguard should be here. Maybe this is the guy that's getting ready to like beat up the other guy, or maybe he's the one that's getting ready to beat him up. Right, and there technically should be another guy in back here too somewhere, right? Like they are close enough that they should both be in the shot. Pushes them away. Punches him. I think it's fine. This stuff works. This stuff works. I think you need to reestablish where the bodyguard is, because that punch comes out of nowhere. You might not need to have the second. You might not need to have this guy, but you should definitely have this guy here, like, coming in. You don't have to show him all the way. It's just, you just need a little bit of an indication of where that punch is coming from, because it feels kind of like, it feels like it just comes out of nowhere. Also, so I know you're doing the cutting on action thing here. This punch is like this, right? Like, it's coming from the bottom, but in the next punch, it's coming down from the top. To make action on action work, or cutting on action, you either have to follow the motion of the action. So if it's coming up like that, in the next one, his hand should be coming up like that in that shot. Or if you're going to do it straight to camera like that, have it go straight to camera all the way, and then the next one will be fine like that, punching down. But you have to keep the motion in the same direction, right? Like, if it's going to be a down to up shot, or like right to left, make sure it stays down to up or right to left. Otherwise, it'll be confusing. It'll feel like two different shots, right? That's cool. I like the camera move. When he hits the ground, have his eyes closed. He shouldn't fall with his eyes open, because I'll feel like the punch was kind of fake. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it's a cool transition. Gets up, walks. Oh, oh, peanut brittle. Peanut brittle. Oh, whoa, that was interesting. That's cool. Falls. Skittles, why? Help me. Help me. I need peanut brittle. If this is a pan down or pan up, just, you might need more panels. It looks kind of choppy. Peanut brittle, stat. Got him. We got the peanut brittle burglar. Twizzlers, Twizzler. This is fine. Wait. It feels a little weird that his eyes... Oh, is his eyes closing or opening? Oh, it's closing. Ugh. Um, did they punch him in the back of the head? Is that why his eyes are closing? He opens the eyes, looks down, looks around, pans up. Oh, that's fine. I think that's fine. Yeah. I think the big takeaway from all this is just watch out for your spatial distances, because some of that stuff is getting a little funky. Like earlier, some of the shots are getting a little choppy because, like this one specifically with the cutting on action, just because it happened too slow. But otherwise, I think you have good draftsmanship. You have a good idea of how people work, what close folds look like. You have solid idea of shots and how to make shots connect together. Yeah, I think this is a good. I think you just might need some poses to smooth out things, but otherwise, I think your drawings are pretty solid. You can turn the form pretty well. You have good idea of shots and whatnot, and it's not. It looks pretty professional. So, big thumbs up energy. But do you have any questions about this stuff? Yeah, they feel very Akira-ish, which is cool. Very cool. It's like Akira mixed with like really good suits. Yeah, it's Akira with suits. I like it. I like it a lot. With cyanide. Oh, okay, I see. I think it's not cyanide, it's chloroform. Cyanide will kill a person, so chloroform. But other than that, looks good. Looks good. Keep it up. Was the assignment to do it to music? Because if that's the case, then cutting it with an automatic might be a good idea. What is this? Cinnamon. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem at all. Which one is this? More Cinnamon. Or we'll call it Cloak. Kevin. Cool. Cool. Let me save this. Let me delete all this other junk in here. Whoa, what is that? Oh, it's just Norm. Ha! Musical assignment. Yeah, so if you end up deciding to take it further, I would suggest cutting it to music just so you can really sell some of the ideas you have. But other than that, it looks, if you leave it the way it is, it's pretty cool. You can just add some dialogue to it. Some peanut brittle, call it a day. I think just studying other filmmakers is how you go about that. That's about it. Like, you just study other films, things you like, and then that's how you develop a better, or that's how you develop your shot ideas and whatnot. It's just looking at other work. What was it? Carol on Tuesday. Yeah, it's definitely a mileage thing and definitely just a practicing thing. I think your shot choices are pretty good. It just comes with practice, like understanding why certain things work and why certain things are feeling chunky. And another part of it is just showing it to people, because a lot of times when I storyboard, like, I have a very specific vision in my head, and then when I show it to someone, they have a something totally different. So you, by showing it to other people, you kind of get a consensus and kind of get more feedback that helps you to be like, oh, maybe I'm focusing too much on this, or maybe I'm not explaining, maybe this shot is not landing as well. So that could also be a part of it too, is just, you know, showing it to people to see what they think. If like, be like, oh, what part stuck out to you? How do you feel? Were you confused by anything? Things like that. That's another part of storyboarding that just comes with time and practice. Yeah. Anything else? Otherwise, I think we went a little bit long tonight. 10:45. I got a couple more joke, or 8 more. I got another joke to cap off the night, but other than that, good work all around, guys. Like, good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, what the heck? Any more questions before we wrap up? Oh, my voice is killing me. I gotta find my Ricolas. Ricola. Any other questions? Oh, let me upload this to the server. Sorry. Episode 22, right? Oh my god. 22, that's so crazy. Yeah, not a problem, guys. Not a problem at all. Keep it up. I can't do this without your guys' help. If it weren't for you guys submitting work, then I wouldn't have anything to review. So thank you guys. Thank you for letting me use your work. I'm getting the link to the notes right now. Here's where you can find today's notes if you need to use them. Whatever's, forgot anything. LBX. Yeah, Kevin says, hopefully I'll see some of your housemates around Lightbox Expo. Yeah, Kirk should be there. There are a bunch of people I know that are going to be tabling, like Linda Chen, Grace Kum, Tenny. Talk to Tenny or Grace about storyboarding. They are amazing. Who else? Steve On is going to be there. Tell him I say hi. Leah, Zaesung Kang. I should just write all... Here, check out all these people's tables. They're all great. So, obviously, Kirk, Swomoto, Grace Kum, and Tenny. Oh my god, I don't know how to spell her last name. Hold on. I feel terrible. Leah Artwick, Zaesung Kang, Steve On. The last 5 people I mentioned, they're all storyboard artists or directors, so they have a lot of great tips about storyboarding. So talk to them if you get a chance, or just pick their brain. Who else do I know that's going? Oh, Linda Chen is going to be there. She was the art director on the last Troll Hunter series. Who else is showing up? Those are all off the top of my head right now. But yeah, definitely Grace, Tenny, Leah, Zaesung, and Steve. They all do storyboards and have direct or storyboard. So definitely pick their brain. Grace Kum. Networking tips. I just listen. Listen to what they have to say. Don't. I don't know. I think it's. it's tough because I think people know that you're there. I don't know. It's tough. I would say the best advice is always listen and then ask very directed questions toward them that kind of pertain to the conversation, and then listen and then conversate, listen. I think listening goes a long way. Uh, Jem says, I have a portfolio due date, but I don't think I'll have time to do another one besides this one. If I polish it up, would it be fine to just have the one? Yeah, if it's good, if you have like one good storyboard, I think that is like indicative of your skill level, then yes, I would say do one good one rather than two mediocre ones. Like do one good one. If they want more work at that point, then you'll have to make another one. Or if they want to see, yeah, they might be like, oh, can you show us other work? Then you'll have to be like, oh, okay, like let me get it together. It's kind of in the process or whatever. But it's better to have one good one than two mediocre ones. Crystal Con will also be at the Animation Guild table on Saturday, 10-2. Crystal Con? Why does that name sound familiar? Cool. Cool. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I will be signing off. And no stream this Friday, but maybe on Sunday. Maybe on Sunday night. We'll see how I feel. But I'm going to be off town on Friday night, so that, as always, like, I really do mean it. Thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, sharing with me your work and letting me critique it. And thank you. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here tonight with me, and I appreciate it. So, signing off with a joke. What kind of music do birds like? What kind of music do birds like? And here's a nice, let me see if I can get to the, yeah, look at that. What kind of music do birds like? Look at that nice drawing. We'll let the stream catch up a little bit. Let you guys try to figure out the answer. And then Batui, big thumbs up. Big thumbs up energy. Okay, what kind of music do birds like? They like squawk and roll. Look at that drawing, so perfect. Squawk and roll. Alright, thanks guys. Thank you guys for coming out all the time. I really appreciate it. Chiptune music. Oh, that's pretty good. Rockatoo. Oh. Yeah, not bad. Those are pretty close. But I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good week. Keep up with the storyboards, and I'll see you then. Peace.